Yeah. So this is the iPad Air 11-inch M1 version, which I've been using for quite a while now, ever since it was released way back in 2022. And I've been using this one for a lot of, illustrations that I've been doing, hobby work, professional works, and this one basically replaced the works that I have been doing from my previous Samsung tablet and the iPad Pro. So is it worth it? And that's what we're gonna find out. So first, let's check out the box, which is the typical white one that we're normally used to, and this one indicates iPad Air. And as you can see here, this is the 256 gigabyte 5th generation Wi-Fi version. First, let's get the tablet out of the way. Then we have the typical booklet, manuals, USB charging, and USB-C cord. And this tablet itself is a gray color that I really like, and the satin texture finish. And it really feels premium like the usual that we are getting from the Apple, and it's thin and lightweight, and which really takes out all the physical features that I really wanted if I really wanted to draw on the go. Next, we have the size of the tablet and its portability. The size of this tablet is 11-inch, and which honestly for me best size to draw if you wanted to do, draw on the go anywhere. It's easy to carry in your small bag, very light, and you can hold it with just one hand. And it basically suits its name, iPad Air. And one of the main selling point of this one is that it's not as awkward to bring anywhere when you wanted to, go in a cafe, restaurant, or outdoors, or some lunch that you will be having a quick break or waiting for someone. I usually draw during these times, and having a small size like this really have this sense of privacy instead of having the bigger ones like the 13-inch, 14, 15, or like the other bigger ones. When you have those bigger size of tablets, it's starting to feel a lot less portable. So this 11-inch for me is a really sweet spot. What the only downside I think of having a smaller screen or size of the tablet 11-inch is you will have of course, obviously you'll have a smaller viewing screen like the bigger ones. If you're having a recording and you have your hand on the screen, of course it will have a lot of space that it will occupy, so it's gonna block some of the screen a lot more compared to the bigger screen tablets. But those are some of the sacrifice that you're willing to foresee, and I think this 11-inch iPad Air really is really great. So the main camera is actually located on the back of the tablet, located in here. The other one is at the front side of the tablet. The front camera is located on portrait orientation, so it's a bit weird where you're gonna use this during meetings like that. Instead, it should have been on the landscape middle portion, so it has a much better viewing when you're using the front camera on your Teams or some personal meetings like that. For the button features, we have the usual ones, like we have the power button located in the side. We have the sound rockers located on this side as well. As usual, the 4 speakers that are located in here, located on the other side as well. So we have 4 of total speakers on this one. The usual USB-C charging port. Now let's talk about the screen of this tablet. And the screen of this tablet is quite good, although it's an LCD screen, liquid retina True Tone display. It's not as vibrant as the OLED version like the one that you would have on the iPad Pro. For me, it's still really good as usual, but if you wanted to have a much more vibrant or high contrasting color, you would love to choose the OLED version on the iPad Pro version, but it will jack up the price. So I think this still is a really good deal. The LCD screen on this one has a 500 nits of brightness, and as you can see here, it's pretty visible in the outdoor daylight. Easy to draw anywhere basically, even on outdoors or you have it on a park. It has really that good brightness. The screen on this one will still be visible if ever you're in a bright sunny day outdoors. Another benefit of having this one, although it's not a major factor when I decided to get the M1 version, is that its gaming capabilities. The game that I've been playing is actually Zenless Zone Zero, and majority of the settings that I have inputted on the parameters are set to high, so it's very good. I've seen really no issues or whatsoever. The FPS that I've set is 60 FPS instead of 30, and there's really no lag or issues on this one. It's performing really well. There's really no hiccups, so this is a very small one. The M1 version is really capable when it comes to games, so that's really a welcome addition when you decide to have this one for gaming usage. When it comes to its color consistency on the screen, when you're somehow viewing it on some different angles, it maintains its color and clarity, although you might have some issues sometimes when there are some artificial lights around the environment. Of course, there will be some reflections, but I think it's well handled. So let's check it out. As you can see here, color is really great. Viewing on a lower angle, it does a really good job on maintaining the color and accuracy. That's why, like I said earlier, although this is not an OLED version of a screen, I think the colors is really accurate, really well done. It really does do justice on the works that you have been doing, especially if you are doing a lot of vibrant colors. you'll not be disappointed in this. So when it comes to video editing experience on the iPad Air M1 chip, it's really great. And then, you know, the main application that I've been using for this one is the Final Cut Pro. Ever since I got this tablet, that's the application that I've been really excited to use ever since it was released in the tablet ecosystem from Apple. You see, I do a lot of cuts and splits on the tracks that I've been doing. Just some very minor effects, some, you know, effects that I'm color grading, being able to handle 30, 60 FPS 4K resolution. Really no issues. This tablet is very capable if you're planning to use this regarding those video editing. So when it comes to drawing experience, you know, there are several factors I was looking into. First, the drawing latency. It's how the screen displays the moment you create a stroke on your tablet. So let's check this one out. As you can see here, I'll be using a regular studio pen, and then size will be at around 20% for this one. Let's do some, you know, quick tests. As you can see here, it's performing really well. The moment I create some strokes, the pen immediately displays the strokes accurately. There are no delays whatsoever. Probably there will be some little delays to slow this video to around crazy slow motion, but as you can see here on realistic tests, really no issue. I can see on this one. Another thing that I would like to test is the pencil tool. As you can see here, no issues as well. Even I do some, you know, extremely fast stroke, very accurate, no issues. Another one is the soft brush. This I think will be the one that will experience a bit of lag, especially when we increase the brush size on this one to a larger diameter. But still, you know, as you can see here, nothing too glaring or horrible delay. So another thing that I look into is the pressure sensitivity, you know, on how well displays the weight that you put on the pen or strokes that you've been doing. For example, let's do a studio pen. I will do a very light pressure on the strokes like this one. Not sure if you can even see it on the screen because it's very light. As you can see on this one, it's still doing pretty great. And then I will apply a bit of pressure now. As you can see on this, you know, test, there are like on these 4 strokes that this one is very light, and then it goes up depending on the amount of pressure. So it displays it very accurately, no issues with regards to the amount of pressure or the pressure sensitivity. Really good job. I think another feature that I would like to go into is the tilt sketching. If ever you're someone who's applying this kind of, you know, realistic approach to the Apple Pencil, kind of mimics accurately on how you draw on this traditional style when you're tilting the pencil. Of course, when you want it to draw on a typical manner where it's pointed like this downwards, really do it accurate as well. See the latency is really performing great as well. No issues, as I have shown earlier. No issues, performing great. Good job. And then have an accurate transition of lines from being thick to thin. I will use a studio pen since I use this mostly for inking purposes, doing some clean lines. See this part? That's very important for me because there are some tablets that does this and then thins like this, which is really weird. But for this one, no issues. This one is really great. I think this tablet with the Apple Pencil performing an incredible job with regards to this type of scenarios. I also try to check whether there are some, you know, jitters doing some strokes on the pen. This actually shows a lot more when you're drawing kind of slow instead of having some fast stroke like this one. But when you're trying to do it slow, nothing too bad. It will be not as smooth when you try to draw something on a faster pace compared to a slower one because you will have fast strokes on this one. As I have shown, it pretty much delivers in every aspect I was hoping it to, especially when it comes to drawing latency, accuracy of the pen strokes. There are no delays. There will only be delays when you slow the footage to around 50 to 70%. That's the only one I think you will be able to notice those, you know, some very small latency on that one. But if you're doing it on a more natural pace of drawing, I think you will really have no issue. It's barely noticeable. Or for me, I think I really don't notice it at all. And this I think will be really helpful when it comes to, you know, illustrations, especially during the concept phase or sketching phase. Another one is the good line weights, since this is really helpful to have those varying lines of thickness, especially when you wanted to emphasize specific focal point on your works. For me, one of the most important part is the transition of the lines from thicker to thinner ones. because majority of the times I use this feature, especially when it comes to hair. I love drawing hairs, very detailed and a lot of dynamic movement. I was really glad that it performs really great in that aspect, and good job overall on that one. And I think the only one that it struggles a little bit, the wobbly lines when you draw slower strokes, when you have small micro jitters on your strokes, but nothing too bad or horrific or horrendous regarding that aspect. I don't think you really have no issues regarding that one. So what do I feel about this tablet? This iPad Air 11-inch M1 version is really great, especially for its price performance ratio, and you can get this one a lot more cheaper now compared to the new M5 version that was recently released, making this one really worth it. It's great drawing performance in any type of scenarios. The only downside I think for a lot of people, or a deciding factor if they will get this one, is OLED screen from the iPad Pro. To get this one, just be a regular LCD. Also the 120 Hz that you will get from the iPad Pro, which is a half that you will get on this one, which is just 60 Hz. If this was some of the sacrifice that you're willing to foresee, then I think this iPad Air 11-inch M1 version is really great, and I think you will not be disappointed on this one if you'll be making a decision of upgrading to this one from your older iPad versions. So that's it. Don't forget to like, subscribe. See you guys on the next one.